what will you being great do for our kids?
Mm.
So you reaching your full potential, right? And we're not talking about the consequences right now. We're talking about the rewards, right?
Mhm.
Not rewards for you, but the rewards for people that you love, your kids.
Mhm.
You being great, what will that do for them? For me, I mean, when I think about like the kids of Dr. Martin Luther King, the kids of a Malcolm X, the kids of great people, I feel like they can walk into rooms and walk into spaces and they get a certain level of treatment because of the legacy of their ancestors,
Right.
right? Because of the legacy of their parents, they get treated a certain way by the community that their people impacted,
Right. Right.
right? And as a person who wants to impact, most directly the melanated community, the Black community, I want my kids to be able to walk into any Black neighborhood and be good. Like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, that's Truvel's kids. Oh yeah, that's Declare's kids. They're good,
Mhm.
right? Um, Another thing that I want my greatness to do is I want my greatness to give our kids endless options.
Yes, that was gonna be
Oh, so go ahead. You
mine.
take it there.
um, I think the freedom, right? The freedom to do what they want with their life. I think that that would be something really amazing to be able to give to all of our kids, right? You don't you can do whatever you want basically, right? Because I think our ideal world, we'd reach a level of financial freedom to where our kids, whether they want to start their business, if they want to go to college, they can, but they don't have to, right? If you want to start a business right out of high school, cool. Here's a fund, here, right? Well,
Facts.
here's a seed fund
Facts.
funding for your business. Here, go out and do what you want with it. Whether you blow it or make your mistakes, right? But that's up to you. But at
Mm,
least you're going to learn those mistakes yourself and have the freedom to do what you want.
right.
And I think that that's I think I think for most people that's what a level that we want to get to. So hopefully we reach that in our lifetime, but
Hmm.
if not, at least our kids will hopefully be able to, from the age that they are able to go out into the world, the adult world, really do what they want and find their purpose. I think that for so many folks, we do things out of necessity, we do things out of this is just the path that I've been paid that's been paved for me, right? I
Hmm.
go to college, I get the salary job, I get the corporate job, whatever, and I retire, and these are the steps.
Right.
Um, and I think for a lot of folks too, right? I've got these student loans, so I need
It's a
to get. I
fact.
got right. We talked about that on another episode, but right, I've got this debt. Right, debt is one of those things that I feel like puts you in a space where now you have to do things out of necessity, and you that doesn't always afford you. It can, but it doesn't always afford you the opportunity to do what you want
Mm,
because you have to do what you have
mm,
to do. You have to do what you need, right? To pay those student loans, to feed your family, to do whatever. So I feel like if we can handle our business now so that when our kids are of age, they don't have debt, right? They don't have student loan debt. They don't have whatever that they need to answer to, anybody that they need to answer to. I think that that will allow them to be able to find find themselves a little earlier than in life and be able to really find their purpose and what they love to do, and
mm,
hopefully allow them to do that for their entire lives and really build that legacy and really reach a level of greatness and whatever that is, whether they're a musician or a dancer or a business owner or a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is,
mm,
um, reach a level of greatness because they were able to start early.
right. So this episode, and well, I'm gonna talk about one of the motivations, but it also came from a quote that we were talking with Grandy, mom, dad yesterday.
Mhm,
I don't know if Grandy said this or if my dad said this, but someone said I know my dad for sure said that he was like, I'm not afraid of being great.
mhm.
But I feel like Granny said something right before that that motivated him to say that. Do you remember what happened? You don't. Long story short, my dad was like, "I'm not afraid of being great." Then he put the pound on. He was like,
Mhm.
give me pound, son. Give me
Eh.
little something, something." And I was like, "I'm not anymore, but I used to. But then I
Mhm,
still pounded it."
mhm,
But that did make me do some reflections on. I felt like, are you willing to pay the price to allow the next generation to be their great self,
mhm,
right? And we talk about us being able to, whether it's creating the financial freedom for our kids so they have a fund so they can now do what they want to and they can be great in whatever right it is for them, right? We need to pay that price. our parents paid that price for us, right?
Mhm.
My dad being able to be a college student and have the maturity and the greatness within him to be like, you know what? I want to be a part of my son's life and I want to raise my son.
Mm.
Right. And I'm a direct result of that choice that
Mhm.
he made 20, how old am I? 29 years ago.
Look, I be asking that
Like,
too.
how old am I? I met some other person that I was like, hey, how old are you, bro? Because he had a very young spirit,
Mm.
but he said, oh goodness. Okay, you timeless. I like that line. I may slide that. But anyway, I feel like I'm a direct result. Whatever perceived greatness that I have and the greatness that I will achieve because of the debt, because of the sacrifice that my parents, my grandparents, and all the other people made for me.
Mhm.
Right. And you have to think, are you today, tomorrow, next month, willing to pay that price, that sacrifice for your kids to be great?
Right.
Alright.
Yep.
Queen, anything you want to sprinkle on that before I go into this last segment, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this "Too Afraid to Be Great" episode. This is some good stuff, personally.
I just think it's the ultimate form of delayed gratification.
Mm,
'Cause it's so delayed you may not experience it.
mm, selfless.
Right. Um, but yeah, I think that we are in a happy medium state right now
Mhm,
to where like we aren't we could be in a different situation right now. Like
mhm.
doing we could be living a different means
A
right now,
selfish
a
life.
selfish life.
Mhm,
But we've made some strategic decisions, we've made some strategic sacrifices so that we can, build a better life for us in the future as well
mhm,
as for our kids.
mhm,
Um, but I think that that's not always easy to do because you don't know what tomorrow brings,
mm.
right? Because there is a level of sacrifice here, us both assuming we're gonna live another 50 years,
Yep.
right? To see the fruit of our labor, whether that's our kids, whether that's something we experience. But we're even doing all of this for a hypothetical family we don't have yet,
Mm. It's a fact.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think it takes a level of let me take myself out of my current situation for a second. And it does take a level of, I think, having your current, at least survival needs met to even be able to do this. So,
Mhm,
right. So we're blessed to be in a situation to be able to do that. Yes, thank you. Um, but I think once you are in a situation where, okay, my financial, my basic needs are met, right? I have a roof over my head, I'm able to feed myself, and I feel okay, I can move my body, I have an able body, right?
mhm,
Blessed. So now what can I do to make sure that someone else is afforded the same thing so that our future legacy can do this times 10,
mhm,
right? But yeah, I think it does take a level of like, okay, once you're good enough, how can I now make sure that the future generation that we don't even have yet, right, is great. Um yeah, I feel like it's a constant struggle because it especially in the world of social media, right? You see other people who may not have made the same decisions, right? They
mhm.
live their best life right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to see that and be like, okay, that'll be me in 20 years or that'll be me in whatever.
Mhm.
But I think it's always keeping in mind like the end goal.
Yeah.
Um yeah.
There it is. Last thing, and I'm not gonna get into the full conversation. Maybe this can be a whole podcast in itself. But I just got back from the Deeper Than the Brand Summit, the I to M Impact and Monetization Summit out in Lansing, Michigan. Shout out to the whole Deeper Than the Brand team. Y'all know who you are. Shout out to the tribe. Um, but in this, one of the activities they had us do, right? And a little bit more context. I'm a dreamer.
Hmm.
I'm an optimist. I'm a self-proclaimed visionary, right? And I think in my circle of people, I'm probably the top 3
Hmm.
visionaries, right? Going into this space was a nice kind of wake up call to be like, yeah, you good, you bad, but this world is huge and there's a
Right.
lot of visionaries and a lot of people that are out there trying to make a big impact too. So expand your network, be exposed to other people because they will force you and stretch you to a bigger goal. But we were in there, and the whole point of the summit is to help you monetize your brand, help you build a community, and then be able to build a either active or passive income stream from this brand, from this community. So they have you, write down how much you want to make next year in your community. So me, I was like, you know what? I want to make $80,000. I think it would be great if somehow through Play Black Wall Street Academy, I'm able to have some students, some school districts, and all that to make a pretty comfortable annual salary. And in my head, I was like, this is realistic. And this is beautiful. $80,000 from a community. This is good. Everyone wrote down their number. And then Nikki was like, now add another zero to that. Everyone was like, "Oh,
Ooh.
oh, you want me to do what?" I,
Mhm.
I already was kind of shooting for the stars
Right.
on this one. If I'm being real, you want me to add a zero to this, so that everyone added their zero, and then she went around and everybody had to say their number,
Mhm.
right? And if at first I was like, "Oh, my number, 80,000." At first, I add another zero, 800,000. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
If I can do this, I'm good, y'all. I promise you, my number was one of the lowest numbers
Mm.
in the room, right? And 800,000 still to this day.
To this
To
day.
this day, I'm still like, that's still a good number.
Mhm.
But people were standing up and they were saying, 1.5 million, 3.5 million, 35 million,
Mhm.
50 million. I was like, goodness, whoa, whoa. But at the same time, I'm like, why not?
Mhm. It's definitely possible.
it's it's possible with the money that's out there, with the people that are on the internet, with the impact that your course can create, right? If you truly believe that you have a good product, there's what, 7 point something billion people in this world. So if you truly believe you have a good product, why can't you make $10 million a year off your product,
Right.
off your course, off your community? So again, this may be another episode, but really forcing you all to not only stop being afraid to be great, but add another level to what you think your greatness can be.
Mhm.
Add another zero to what you think your greatness can be. Add another layer of impact to what you think your greatest level of impact can be, and go that much further. Not to say that if you don't reach this level, it's a failure, but maybe this is the goal.
Right. So that wherever you land under here, you sitting pretty.
You're still sitting pretty, right? If we shoot for $800,000 next year and we only make a half a mil,
Oh no.
that is still huge. Don't come looking. Don't start counting our pockets. There's not gonna be any type of announcement.
No.
There's none like that. But yeah, like really stretch yourself and shoot for something higher, something that you never thought was possible. And kind of giving one more example. I know I'm over speaking, Queen. I apologize. But going into kind of weekly updates. As y'all know, we just got back from our third year anniversary.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah,
Went
yeah.
up to Big Bear. But there was a point in my life where I was afraid to ride in a helicopter.
Mm.
Right. There's a point in my life where I didn't know anybody firsthand who has ridden in a helicopter.
Mhm.
We just rode in a helicopter for the first time in Big Bear, right? And now our brains like we want to get a helicopter's license. Now we saw a whole nother perspective of Big Bear, and it just opened our minds up to other possibilities,
Mhm.
right? So stress yourself, expose yourself to other people, and do things that maybe you haven't seen someone that do before, just so you can get to another level,
Yeah,
right? Because you can only, yeah, that's why you got to get new experiences, y'all.
you do.
You got to. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all,
Any,
any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify,
all them,
anything, all of them,
all
all
them.
of them. Wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.